Storage has been getting crazy expensive lately, and it is not because of inflation, it is because of this. By 2026, AI data centers are expected to consume around 70% of the world's memory production. And somehow that's affecting you. If you're a photographer or basically anybody who works with some kind of external or internal memory, you've probably already noticed this. SSDs, more expensive. Hard drives, not as cheap anymore. And cloud storage just keeps on going up in prices. But here's the weird part. Storage was supposed to get cheaper with every year, but it didn't. So what is the thing that changed? Right now, AI companies are building massive data centers. And I'm not talking some small servers. I'm talking about buildings filled with thousands and thousands of GPUs. And every single one of those has to have insanely fast memory, massive storage, and has to be running 24/7. So companies like OpenAI, Google, Meta are buying storage in bulk. And not like you buying 2 terabytes of SSD. It's more like going up to the company and telling them, hey, we'll buy everything that you produce this year. But here's where it gets interesting. The same companies that produce AI memory also produce consumer SSDs. So when AI demand explodes, the companies shift to whatever makes them more money, which in turn means less supply for normal drives and higher prices for completely everything. And thus photographers and content creators get hit by this the most, because we don't need just one hard drive. We need lots of storage. RAW files, 4K videos, slow motion high FPS videos, client work, archives, and if you want to back it all up, it's going to take a massive amount of storage. Just one shoot can be 50 gigabytes, and if you're using multiple camera angles, that just can quadruple. Multiply that over a few months, and storage becomes the highest hidden cost in photography or videography. Now about the 70% number that I showed you at the start of the video, it doesn't mean AI is taking all of the storage. It's mostly high-end memory used in servers. But the key thing here is, even if it's not all of it, it still is enough to impact the market quite a bit. 6 months ago, you were able to buy a 2 terabyte SSD for a maximum of $149. Maybe $200 if you went for the more premium quality ones. But now, literally the cheapest one you get, and it's on a deal, is $200. With the more popular SanDisks being $400 now. But in Europe, the situation is even worse. Just 2 months ago, I made a video about the best gear you can buy depending on your budget for your starter kit. And on that video, I showed this specific hard drive. And at the time, it cost only 170 euros or 180 euros. And now it costs 280 euros. It has increased by over 100 euros in just 2 months. But it doesn't affect only external storage, it also affects your SD cards and internal storage. But if you want faster storage and want to save money on it, then a good way to do that is by buying an SSD shell. So this thing is just a hard shell, which you put in your internal SSD into. Internal SSDs often cost way less than external ones. So all you have to do is get a shell like this for like 10 or 20 bucks and reuse your old internal SSDs or buy new internal SSDs. And the same thing goes for faster NVMe type memory. Why don't they just make more of it? But it really isn't as simple as that. These storage chips are made in insanely advanced factories, and building one of those takes years and billions in finances. You can't just flip a switch and double production in like a few days. Even upgrading the existing factories would take tons of time and a lot of resources. And the part that most people have forgotten or don't know is that the prices a few years ago were really low, and manufacturers even cut production to avoid losing money. But then AI exploded. The demand hit through the roof, but the supply was still limited. So now we're stuck in a situation where everybody wants storage, but there's only so much of it that they can produce. And the worst part is that this isn't temporary. AI demand is still growing. More people are using it on a daily basis for their business and just their personal needs. Data centers are still expanding, and companies are locking in supply in years in advance, which unfortunately means that this might be the new normal. If you didn't know this information before watching, then you've probably overpaid for storage this year. So consider subscribing, because I break down all these little things that photographers might not think about.